Hello and welcome to GFA's first medical missions newsletter. My name is Paige and I went with GFA on a 2-week medical mission trip to Zambia in July of 2022, led by Dr. Jack Mitchell and his wife Jennifer. And they just asked me to do a little video kind of saying what my experience was. So I honestly really enjoyed my time there. I really enjoyed coming alongside the missionaries that were working there. We worked with several missionaries, kind of grow their church plant ministry through the medical clinic work that we were doing. So my role was as a nurse. I'm a nurse from Canada, and I went to work in the clinic. It's kind of a bush clinic setup. And so we had patients coming every day. We ran 8 days, well, kind of like 7.5 days of clinic. So patients would come in, they would get triaged, kind of get their vitals done. And then as the nurse role, they would come back to us. We would assess them, kind of get their history, and then kind of see what their main complaint was. And then from there, they would get their medications. And if they needed any kind of treatment, then we would also do that. So treatment like wound care, monitoring of blood pressure, and there's a lot of health teaching involved as well. So teaching good nutrition, teaching monitoring blood sugar, high blood pressure. It's a lot of, I guess, it'd be kind of urgent care type stuff. There wasn't anything too emergent that we saw, but there was definitely some interesting cases that was kind of neat to kind of come together and collaborate as a team and figure out how we were going to treat it and what the best course of action was. Here in Zambia, they do have some other clinics that we could also give referrals to, so we could utilize that. Definitely African medicine is different. That it was very different from the North American medicine that I was used to. So I definitely learned a lot. There was experienced people on the team there to help you, and I was able to learn a lot. But I did feel like my nursing back in North America gave me a good basis. It's all the same basic assessment and skills that you do, and then you just kind of build on top of that and use it in a different capacity for African nursing. So I really appreciated that. I would say kind of one challenge in regards to that is I did have a hard time sometimes feeling like we weren't doing enough for the patients that we were seeing, or felt like there was so much more that needed to be done. But really the most important thing was that every single patient that came to the clinic, came through, that we were treating, had heard the gospel, because the gospel was preached multiple times throughout the day. And so it was the patients that were hearing it, it was the family members that were the patients that were hearing the gospel, and ultimately that is the greatest help that we can give them. That's the greatest love that we can show them. So that was the main focus, and I appreciated that there was a very much an evangelistic focus. It wasn't just about humanitarian aid or the medical care, though that was a portion of it, but really it was showing Christ's love through our actions in giving that medical care and making sure that every single person heard the gospel. We were handing out tracts. Definitely a lot of people could not speak English, so we were working with local Zambian translators, and that was a real pleasure to be able to work with them. A lot of them were very skilled. Many of them were nurses themselves, so we were able to kind of swap expertise and knowledge, and really appreciated their work and effort that they put into that. Also just really enjoyed the team members coming together and never having met each other before, but many of us became pretty good friends in a short amount of time. We're working closely together, and it's just really refreshing to be amongst people who are wanting to further the kingdom of God and willing to kind of get outside of their comfort zone of North America. Also, just really enjoyed getting to know the missionaries who were here, getting to know kind of a little bit of what their ministry looked like, getting to see their churches and how they kind of practice locally with their churches. Just seeing God's work in other countries and seeing that there is definitely much spiritual darkness, but the power of God is so much greater than that. And seeing the inroads that the gospel is making in these places through the hard work of these missionaries, and to be able to come alongside and hopefully help further that. I really appreciated that after we're gone, after these 2 weeks, that there is a local ministry that we're connecting these people to. It's, like I said, it's not just humanitarian, but we're really connecting them to a place where they can hear the gospel. They know that we gave them kind of a tract that had the gospel in it, as well as the church, the address, so that they could come back if they had questions.